Spy satellites, secret photos, a lot of money. Sounds like something out of a movie, but this is a real-life company that's figured out how to take its technology to Wall Street and make some cash. CNBC's Eamon Javers joins us this morning with the story of Digital Globe. Eamon, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, I'm standing in the mission control room here of private satellite company Digital Globe. And these technicians that you can see behind me are operating 3 satellites that are orbiting the Earth at altitudes of between 300 and 600 miles above the ground. Now, Digital Globe launches the satellites and sells the pictures they take to American intelligence agencies, private companies, and increasingly Wall Street firms that are using satellite images to get a jump on market-moving information. Here's how it works. Tom Diamond is the CEO of a small startup company called RS Metrics. He buys satellite images from Digital Globe, analyzes them for his customers, who include Wall Street firms and hedge funds.
A satellite image, regardless of the analysis that comes out of it, it's real data. You can actually see cars in a parking lot. You can see Winnebagos parked outside of Forest City, Iowa at the Winnebago plant. You don't have to guess based on what a manager is saying from a store or an opinion from an analyst. It's a real piece of data you can look at.
Diamond's firm counts every single car in hundreds of parking lots of large national chain stores, from McDonald's to Walmart, with an eye toward getting a jump on quarterly earnings. And guys, in about 2 hours, I'll tell you exactly how they do that. And I'll give you a sense of RS Metrics' surprising take on the health of the retail sector, given their exclusive bird's eye view. Back to you.
Interesting. Can you give us one hint? I mean, are they looking at traffic, at the number of cars in parking lots? What?
Yeah, what they're doing is they're counting the cars in the parking lots, and therefore they can measure the actual customer flow into Walmart, Target, McDonald's, all these retailers. And actually last week, interestingly enough, UBS published its first analyst report that actually used this satellite data to sort of get a feel for what Walmart's earnings would be, that just reported a little while ago. And interestingly enough, on that point, the satellite analyst said that Walmart was going to be a little bit better than some of the traditional analysts had expected. They were much more bullish on Walmart than the traditional analyst community.
I mean, doesn't this raise a whole host of security issues? I mean, are there any no-go zones?
Yeah, well, as you can imagine, the guys who do this for a living say that there are not really security issues when you're just looking at a parking lot. That's pretty much a public place, and so there's no real invasion of privacy going on here. But
from the ground level, there are always security issues, so why couldn't there be from up above?
That's right. I'll give you an example. That's right. And you can imagine that there are CEOs of companies around the country who don't really want satellites spying on what's going on there. These guys are counting, oil deposits in refineries. They're counting iron ore piles at manufacturing facilities. They're really looking at all the raw materials of the U.S. economy as they move through the economy, and therefore getting a sense of sort of where everything is going. That's something that CEOs and businesses are not really used to.
Well, I'll give you an example. I mean, years ago when I was still an industrials analyst, and I knew one of my competitors would go every month and sit outside a particularly large facility in Illinois and count how many trucks were coming out the door. And he would go there every month, and he'd sit there with a counter and then have this history of saying, hey, there has been a 30% increase in truck traffic. Well, that means production's going up. Now, the company can't stop somebody from sitting outside the door. It's public land. They're allowed to sit there, and I think there's just another way, certainly a more efficient and technologically advanced way to do it.
There's the I-75 indicator in Cincinnati, how many trucks were going under an overpass. And also containers that we see them piled up around the Jersey Turnpike, and you can actually see them get bigger and get smaller because they're stacked, and in slow periods they're stacked up. No one's using them when goods are moving. You can just see them this way. You could look at that from the sky, and you could just use a little ruler to see how much was left. I mean, I think this is great. I mean, this is transparency, right?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. In fact, the analysts are looking at every major port around the world. They're looking at the port of Long Beach. They're looking at Singapore, Hong Kong, and they're counting the containers that come off those ships as a measure of economic activity overall in each of the regions around the planet.
You get macro information from this. This is good.
I mean, look, there probably are some no-fly zones, in other words, near a military installation and things like that. No, I'm saying you can't take pictures near a military or government institution, things like for security reasons, which makes sense. I'm pretty excited about listening to this company. They're going to be at our conference in November.
Oh, really?
I'm actually at our fun little small mid-cap conference in Vegas, and I'm actually very interested in hearing their story.
I like it. Eamon, we look forward to hearing more from you. Plus, you're in Longmont, which is not far from where Joe and I went to college.
You should go out. You've been to Boulder, Eamon? wine? Just go out there.
We went to a blues joint nearby last night.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a pretty good meal. We had a steak dinner on your dime.
That's all right.
At least you're open about it.
all
That's
right.
good.
Awesome.
Eamon Javers joining us from Longmont. We'll hear again from him later in the show.